Hello. Okay, so right out of the gate, I gotta let you in on a little something. You might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, wait, Elle looks a little different. Or maybe you're not thinking that at all, but maybe it's just a me thing. I am a little different today. I am wearing less eyeliner. Not sure why I gave you a little eye flutter there. I always feel like I have a lazy eye when I try to eye flutter at people, but hopefully that was something. But yes, I am wearing very little eyeliner compared to what I usually wear. And just so that you know, I have done my makeup the same exact way since I was in high school. And I'm a creature of habit. So I very rarely change things when I know that they work. And I don't know if this exists, but I think I might have some kind of form of face dysmorphia because I genuinely think I look like a different human being while I'm looking at myself right now. Like I find it like I don't even really recognize myself, which is really wild because the only thing that is different is that I'm wearing like no eyeliner there. I'm not trying to be a pick-me and be like, hey guys, do I look? No, you don't have to. Listen, I'm chosen. Baby, you can't be a pick-me if you've chosen yourself, okay? Okay, I choose myself every day, but what I am saying is, for some weird reason, I've always had this block about my face, where I'm just gonna go into this because why not? Maybe someone relates to this. So I think I said this in my video about how I think I may have some form of OCPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder, because the symptoms really resonate with me, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of them are around perfectionism and self-image and the desire to control your circumstances and beating yourself up for little mistakes and rumination, like looping thoughts. And it's a gift though, baby, because without everything I just said, we would not be getting these videos on the feed. So, is it a curse or is it a blessing? Let's choose our mindset. I choose to be blessed, not stressed. So, if I do have a spicy brain, the spicy brain is what brings us these videos and insights, so we love her. Kisses for the missus. Blow her a kiss for me. Anywho's, part of the OCPD, if that I do in fact have that, not me diagnosing myself like every time I sit down here, but when you therapize yourself as much as I do, you want to have something, you want to have an answer. Part of the OCPD may be this thing around control of image. And I think maybe that's why I think I look so different like this. Because, well, first of all, I never look any different. My friend Annie likes to say I'm the most consistent looking person she knows. I never look any different. I do my hair the same way every day. I do my makeup the same exact way every day. I just look remarkably similar every day. I'm one of those like Mark Zuckerberg types who owns like the same shirt in different colors. Like that is me. I just find something I like, and I have a very weird body type that's like, you know, burp, burp, burp. And, you know, not much fits on me in a way that doesn't make me either look really, really big because my shelf unit right here, my built-in shelf, you know, when you put a shirt on a shelf, it just hangs on the shelf, right? And it doesn't suck inward at the waist. And when you got proportions like this gal right here, that is just not the best scenario, because you look like a big old tent. Looks like you're going camping. I look like a full moo-moo. It is just not good. Yeah. The proportions, the 42, 28, 42, baby. Very little makes those shine. Maybe one day when I am very, very wealthy and massively successful, I can buy a bunch of clothes that I actually really love and have them tailored, because that would slap. I aspire to dress like Joan from Mad Men all the time, but instead, I'm doomed to a life of athleisure. I'm doomed to wearing the same Lululemon pants and shirts every day because anything else makes me look really big, or it's in a stretchy material that looks kind of cheap because literally nothing else fits on my body. Not me going on a rant about that out of nowhere, but that's what we do here. And I haven't sat down for a while, so you're seeing the intrusive thoughts come back into the ring. Okay, back to the plot. I think my face looks very different for whatever reason. I mean, let me move myself. Really get up in there. If you've ever met me in person, I'll just like turn it multiple ways. I am very curious if you feel like I look really different, because there is just something about me looking at myself right now, and I don't know if it's good or bad, it's just different. And this is why this happened, if anyone is wondering. This is intimate. I'm looking at the lens right now. Now I'm looking at my eyes in the actual picture. Now I'm looking at the camera. Does it feel like, because really the only thing different is my eyes. That's why I keep on doing these weird eye contact thingies. But anywho, I would love to know your thoughts. Feel free to comment or DM me if you feel like it's, oh my God, Elle, looks so different. Okay, whatever. But this is why it happened. So the other day, I went to the sauna with my friend Cameron, who, I'll tell you the Cameron story today, how I met Cameron, and then I'll go, because I just want to be honest with you. I felt a lot of resistance to sitting down and making this video. I think I like hemmed and hawed, like literally just meandered around. I had the whole setup, I had my phone propped up, and I was just dilly-dallying on making this. And I think it's because I feel like my face looks so much different, which is like probably why I dilly-dallied, because usually I'm very excited to sit down. But I also think it's partially because I skipped a couple days again, and that just tends to give me anxiety. But every time I sit down, it's so much better than I thought it was gonna be, and I'm so glad that I do it. So you need to get over yourself, okay? We love you, but please get over yourself. Okay, anyhoozle. Why this happened is I went to the sauna with my friend Cameron the other day. He very graciously invited me to go with him. Bless him. Blessings on blessings these days. And we went, and something just told me, like, don't put on as much eyeliner as you usually do, because it's just gonna sweat off and get like really creepy looking and like come down my face. I don't know, I had some concerns about that. So I broke my very consistent look and basically did this to my face. And then after the sauna, we went straight to this class called Kundalini Awakening with Danny and Talia. We joined them, and Talia looks at me for like 3 seconds and she's like, you look really different. Like, you look so much lighter than you usually do, and you just look so beautiful. And I feel like I can see more of you than I usually can. And she was just like letting it rip, and she's like this is what I want to see. Like, this is everything. Like, I love like your face like this. I mean, she was gassing me up, and I was like, okay, I think at the end of the day, why I took the whole situation to heart and have been wearing less eyeliner ever since that conversation is, I can't trade my face with anyone. I think that in the past, I was very hard on myself, and I would have loved to trade faces with a lot of people, but I can't. And I'm pretty good friends with my face these days. But when I just heard some of her comments, and she was just so excited to see me looking lighter. That's what she just kept saying, was like, you look so much lighter, you look beautiful, like I feel like I can see your soul more clearly. And then I just got to thinking, and I was like, you know, what is there to hide? Like, if someone doesn't like my face like this, then who cares? And also, if like someone isn't attracted to my face like this, like, okay, it's probably good to know that up front. Then when I take off my makeup and they don't think I look good. So when she said that comment, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna let it rip like this from now on. And that's not to say that for special occasions I'll bring out the heavy Lana again, but because she's been my old trusty. But I think even though I'm not sold, not that I'm not sold on this, but I just feel like I look really different, and I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, and I have this thing in my head where it's like I want to look good at all times, and I do feel like myself. I think I feel a little different with this makeup on. I feel more free to be myself. I think I feel I kind of feel like a fairy. I think I feel like I'm swimming in a creek and there's leapfrogs and lily pads and bubbles, and I can wear like a long white flowing dress, and I can just be more connected to like nature with this makeup. I know that's kind of weird to say, but I just feel more myself with it. And Talia said, I know that you'll reach enlightenment when you don't put on any makeup at all. And that was funny, because it's really true. It's really true. Like here, I have on mascara, so only on the top eyelashes, so you can kind of see that. And then just like the smallest little wing, really just to like, I don't know, give myself a little something, because it was a drastic change and I'm not all the way used to it, as you can tell. And by drastic change is really funny. It's like Talia was trying to get Cameron and Danny's opinion, and she was like, Danny, you know, Danny's one of my best friends, and I see him all the time, and she's like, Danny, doesn't Elle look different? And he's like, what? And then she's like, Cameron, like, do you think Elle looks different? And he was like, was she wearing makeup the first time I met her? So, you know, men are simple. Men are a different breed, but Talia could notice immediately, and she could tell immediately. But I think no matter what, I do feel lighter. I do feel lighter. I do feel more myself. I feel like I have, I think when you put more makeup or filters or a layer of extraction on top of yourself, you get more anxious when someone is in the position to see you without all of it. And that doesn't just apply to makeup, that can apply to literally everything, every way that you show up. That can be your reality for trying to be a certain way. Like if you're not very outgoing naturally and you feel the need to be like a circus monkey and perform in social events, and it really drains your energy, but you kind of set that pace, and now everywhere you go people expect that from you. You know, that would be a filter that you've applied, that now when someone actually gets to know you and it comes off, they'd be like, oh wait, I didn't think this is what I was getting, which is interesting. So it's almost like the more authentic and true to yourself and true to what you, I guess in the makeup's case, what you look like underneath it, you can be, the more time you save. in general. It's like authenticity is really a time saver, and it's a blessing. And I think it's not a coincidence that this sauna situation where where I was experimenting with less makeup just because I didn't want it to sweat off. I don't think it's a coincidence that Danny and Talia saw me right after that session, and I don't think I would have done that if it weren't for the sauna session I went into. And then Talia made these comments, and then I started doing it. I don't think that, sorry, I'm like pulling my hair. I just love doing that. It feels so good. Oh my God. Ooh, wow. Sorry, that was something. That was pretty random. Sometimes that train of thought just leaves the station, baby. I can find it. Give me a second. Where were you? Where were you? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Oh, for me, it's like, it gives me a lot. I think that's what it is. I feel a lot less anxiety now. And I think a lot of my anxiety was coming from filters that I was putting on top of who I actually was because I thought I needed to. Or because somewhere along my life journey, somebody told me, oh, you'd be so much better if you weren't so outspoken. You'd be so much better if you lost 10 pounds. You'd be so much better if you showed up like this. You'd be so much better if you didn't talk so much and weren't so intense and weren't so career driven and yada, 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 whatever it is, fill in the blank. And then all of your reactions to other people's opinions and requests and demands of you are the filters that you put on top of yourself because you think that you need to do that to be loved, to be chosen. And you learn, and I guess this is me learning this in the last couple of months, that all of those filters that you put on from past people, past programming, are incredibly poisonous and will actually be the very thing that prevent you from finding your person, your right situation, your right life purpose, your career. I mean, it really does apply to everything. Your right friends. It's like those filters that you put on top of yourself because someone along the way said, hey, I wish you'd do this differently. That is what stands between you and everything that you want relationally. So I've been very, very, very focused on bringing my awareness to where I feel like I'm not acting as my natural self, and then correcting the behavior. It's like basically anything that feels hard, anything that feels like you have to put in an undue amount of effort, you have to do something that doesn't come naturally to you, in a relationship with somebody, anything that like, oh, I don't feel good, I don't feel confident, I don't feel like I can exhale and be myself. These are all smoke signals that, or this, sorry, I'm itching my ear. Do I like who I am around this person? This applies to absolutely anything, friends, business, romantic partners. Do I like who I am around this person? That is a critical question. If you don't like who you are around this person, something's very wrong, baby. Cut and run. Get out of there. Get out of there. The only reason you would stay around a person who brings out a bad version of you, an uncaring and unkind, pushover version of you, whatever the negative reaction to them is, if you're staying there, it's because you accept the love you think you deserve, and you don't think you deserve good love. You don't think you deserve healthy love. So get out of there and work on yourself until you believe with your whole heart you deserve healthy love. That's your move, babe. That's your roadmap. But anywho, let me tell you the Cameron story, and then I'm gonna go, because I'm proud of myself for sitting here and for putting my mug on camera. And I had a lot of resistance. I worked through to make this one. So I'm very proud of me for even being here for like 20 minutes is really great. So I'll tell you this fun little story and then I will go off into that good night and have a very good night myself. So this story, if I had to give it a title, is One Conversation Can Change Your Life. Okay? So let me set the scene for you. I go to this yoga studio all the time on a near daily basis, and I love it so much. It's like a second home to me. It has this meditation room that has the wall of Himalayan salt lamps. And I like to sit in there in between my classes and write if I feel called, or they have this like little tarot card deck in there that I like to pull cards from. It's like called the Dream Oracle deck, and every card has a word that might have symbolism in your dreams. It's like a theme. And I love pulling a card every time I go because it's spot on accurate to what I'm experiencing in my life, to a very eerie degree, which is actually amazing because as it should be, you know, like, thank you. The cards are they're reading the room correctly. So I'm sitting there in lizard yoga. I was right in the middle of writing a story about how strangers always come up and talk to me. This was like the content of my story in the notes app. And I was trying to use my writing to explore why that happens. And I was reminded of this quote that there's these two twin boys who are 18 years old who come on the walks named Cole and Ian. And they are amazing. They are amazing, literal angels on earth. I love them so, so much. And after, I believe it was walk 82, we stayed in the coffee shop for a while. It was me, Cole, Ian, and this guy, Arth, who is also one of my favorites of the boardwalks. I love him so much as well. We stayed there talking about a bunch of different things, the map of consciousness, of course, but a whole bunch of different stuff. And basically, the boys, the two twins, Cole and Ian, say something to the effect of, I feel like every time I'm talking to you or Danny, I just word vomit the truth. I cannot hold myself back from telling you guys the truth. And it's scary, but it also feels amazing. And I thought about that as I was writing because I was like, there's something about the way that Danny and I show up that allows people to word vomit the truth. It's just very interesting to think, like, what are we doing that makes that happen? I mean, it's highly energetic, just purely in how we are showing up, but how interesting. So I was writing on that, and I literally said in like the first line about how strangers come up and talk to me, and I was exploring that idea, and then all of a sudden this man walks into the meditation room, and he's like looking over at me and looks really friendly, like he wants to say something. And I'm like, oh, is this guy gonna talk to me? Because, you know, I was writing. I look really focused, and especially when I write, I'm like, I have my headphones in. I mean, I look like I'm on Do Not Disturb mode. And he goes, like, hi, like, it's nice to meet you. I'm Cameron. And I was like, oh, hi. I'm Elle. Good to meet you. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm sorry if I'm a little standoffish. I'm actually writing a story. Gosh, it's early for me to be yawning. I've been so sleepy lately, guys. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm a writer too. What are you writing about? So I told him, oh, actually, I'm writing, funny enough, about how strangers always come up and talk to me. And I told him the quote from Cole and Ian on the walk, and he was like, wait, are you the girl who hosts the weekly morning walks? I heard about you. on Danny's podcast. And I was like, Danny's podcast? And he's like, yeah, like Danny Miranda, like he's the reason I moved to Austin from Bali 3 weeks ago. And I was like, what? Danny Miranda? Danny Miranda is one of my best friends. And he's like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. What are the odds of this? And then everything just shifted. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy is important. Something just hit me like a lightning bolt. I put my story down, which if you know, when I get focused on something, I'm like a dog with a bone. So the fact that somebody got me to put down my bone and talk to them, it just shows you how much raw charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent this man has. So I talked to him for about 3 hours. And this conversation is just weaving in and out of so many amazing, vulnerable topics. He ends up skipping his sauna session that he had scheduled. I end up skipping my breathwork class. It was just like, this was so important. The conversation just felt like it really needed to be had. And all the way throughout, as I'm listening to him share his story with me, he looks at me at one moment and he was like, I don't think I've ever been so seen in a conversation in my entire life. And you are so present with me and you're really listening to everything that I have to say. And I feel so safe to be myself. And I've never felt so comfortable just being myself before. And I think that you have gotten the realest version of me in this conversation than anyone else in my life. And it was such a beautiful and like vulnerable admission. And I really related to it. It almost felt like I was looking at myself in some ways from like a little while ago, maybe like a year ago. And so I just did light work, I did what I felt called to do, which was to be in total presence with this man, Cameron. And in the course of the conversations, we talked about so much, understanding like your intimacy fears and people pleasing, and how you have a cycle of consumption and creation, and how the meditation videos are kind of my like ultimate form of creation and authentic creation. We talked about consciousness, of course. We talked about Danny's podcast. We just talked about some of his adventures in Bali. And so it was a really, really lovely conversation. And by the end of it, I told him, hey, listen, you probably know this because you follow Danny on Twitter. And he's like, oh, I don't go on Twitter that much, actually. I'm like, oh, well, Danny's having this retreat for men called Be Light. And it's happening in like a couple of days. It's happening literally in 4 days. And all the spots are sold out, but I can probably get you in. And something just tells me that you need to be on this retreat. And so I make this like kind of passionate case, and he's just like, say less. I'm already in because I moved to Austin because of Danny's podcast and feeling like I needed to meet more people with his energy. And I was like, okay, let me get a hold of Danny and see if there's an extra spot for you. So I reach out to Danny and Talia, and I'm like, guys, you're not gonna believe what just happened. Like, you're not gonna believe this story. And I end up taking a picture of Cameron and sending it to Danny for him to calibrate his consciousness, because I was telling Cameron about the map, and I just like saw in Cameron's eyes that he was in love. Like, he just looked like a human billboard for love. And I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna have a high level of consciousness. And what do you know? He calibrates in the 500s, which is love. And I'm like, of course, that's exactly how he hit me intuitively, which is just so funny. So, anywho, I go back to Danny. I'm like, Danny, this man is amazing. He needs to be on your retreat. Something is telling me he will play an important role, and it's very important that he be there. And Danny is like, okay, there are 12 beds. I capped the attendees at 11, but I can make an exception and open up one last spot for him because this moment is so holy. And I was like, amazing, great. So I send it to Cameron, send him the link. He pays the $3,000 for the retreat. And all of a sudden I get a Venmo payment from Danny for $1,000 as a commission, I guess, for finding him a sale in the most unexpected places without even trying. So that happens. I can share more about the next miracle that happened just days after this retreat actually took place. But what you need to know is that Cameron is an angel. And Cameron is going to be a new character in the meditation diaries. And just imagine, so Talia and Danny call me and Cameron Marilyn and JFK, because he is like the male version of me. Like we have very similar personalities. I mean, we even like finish each other's sentences. We have like the same, even like weird little voices and like ways of saying different words. It's kind of spooky how similar we are. We also have the same exact things we struggled with like the perfectionism, the surrender, the need to control, the like wanting to preserve our image. We just have the same struggles, seriously. So it really did feel like meeting the male version of myself. I'm like, damn, this is what it feels like to experience me. What a delight. This guy's awesome. So anyway, not to be a total ham about it, but Cameron is amazing, and you will be seeing a lot more of Cameron. We love a Cameron in this household. He is such a king. Ooh. That's my cue. That's my cue. I'm so relaxed right now. I'm so sleepy. I'm just like the sleepiest little bub. I'm very proud of myself for recording this, and I'm proud of you for watching it, and so grateful for you. And I really am hoping that you have the most incredible, soul-nourishing, relaxing week ahead, and that all of your dreams come true over the next couple of days. I really hope that if there's anything that you left unsaid to anyone who you consider to be important in your life, that you take this moment to call them or text them and to bridge some of that gap and to say some of the truth that you may be avoiding. I know that saying the truth is scary and it takes a lot of courage, but I can promise you with 100% certainty that you are going to feel so much better on the other side of speaking your truth to whoever needs to hear it. And real relationships will never be ruined when you share your true feelings. That's just the fact. And a relationship that's actually going to endure is when people are comfortable and feel safe to share their feelings, knowing that they'll be met with no judgment and only love, acceptance, and peace. And open mind, open heart. So, and open arms for a hug. But anyway, I hope you have the most relaxing week. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you so much. And I'll talk to you soon. I'm gonna go hit the hay now. I love you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, baby.